who do I think I am? Like I was trying to get somebody advice
Yeah.
and somebody jumped in. I go, you know what? I'll answer that question for you.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 99 of Pillar Talk. I'm sitting here with Omar, man across the hall from us, actually, and we had to get him in here, man. What's up, Omar? Thank you for coming in.
Hey, how's it going, bud? All right. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um, well, I guess I talk, so I guess we're gonna get into it. So I am the director, and owner of Next Step Support. It is a vocational rehabilitation service. We're a consulting firm. It's a whole lot of words for saying I help people get jobs, with recurrent medical conditions. I specialize in felons, addicts, handicap, homeless. I know you shouldn't say handicap. People with disabilities,
Yeah.
um, people with barriers, and everything I do for the state, I do for the community for free. What that means is I'm at the I don't know, I'm the guy trying to help people get jobs, I guess.
Uh,
But unfortunately, I guess I should say it. Some of you guys also might know me as the scooter guy. That's how they knew me as first was the scooter. That's how we met.
I literally was he was pulling the scooters out, and I was like, "Bro, what's up?"
Yeah, so that's how that came about, man. But I'm a little bit more than the scooter guy, but I guess I'm just a guy. Um,
But you took Monroe over with the scooters. That's
yeah,
all I seen this summer.
yeah, man. The scooters were cool, man. They were fun. It was a good opportunity, and I'm an opportunistic person, man. I'm an entrepreneur. I like business, and it was an opportunity was there. I get involved in the community, man. So I seen that the city of Monroe had approved it, and that they had wanted it. They did a study, like some
Okay.
energy study, and the citizens wanted alternative means of transportation. Wanted go green and all this other stuff. So I looked into that, and I then after city council meeting, I then applied for franchises with everyone, every agency, Bird, Lime, you name it. I applied with them. And then when Bird met with the city on their own, I was listening to the city council meeting on that public access channel. Man, I love that channel.
Mm-hmm.
I seen that they had approved it and that Bird got the deal. I then reached back out to Bird again, and they awarded me the franchise. And shockingly, nobody else applied. I was the only person. I
No
got it.
shit.
I got it by default, man. I wasn't even the best candidate. I was the only one.
You
So
didn't even it wasn't even election, dude. I just got it.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
So it wasn't like a thought of you. You just seen that it was an opportunity and you
Well,
were like, fuck it.
Well, no, it was twofold. It was an opportunity, but it goes in hand with my my vocational stuff, my job placement. So I'm tasked to get people jobs, right?
Yep.
But how am I supposed to get you a job if you just went through a divorce and you're living at the shelter now and your wife kept your car or your husband kept a car?
Right.
But now I'm expecting to get you a job and the society expects you to.
And now you got to drive to that
How
job.
you gonna get to this job?
Yeah.
So when we got to scooters, it was I was bringing that into it, but what it allowed me to do by owning a franchise, it allowed me to do the scooters pro bono or pay for them out of our own pocket for all my felons. Remember, I told you I helped the felons get jobs.
Yep.
So it helps me with that, or more when I'm at the shelter. So Pastor Boone at the shelter down at the village market, they would, or not the village market, I'm sorry, the village shelter, the Oaks of Righteousness shelter. She would I'd keep scooters there. And the residents from there would take them and they would go where they need to be. If they need to go get paperwork, if you got to ride the bus, it takes you hours to get anywhere.
Hours, dude. You got to walk all the way to the courthouse. You got to fucking sit on the fucking bus stop.
Yeah, so everybody loved the scooters, man. Everybody loved like that. But what they didn't really realize the underbelly of the scooters was we were taking scooters as my felons were coming home and I was trying to work pro bono. The ones who were really reaching out to me saying, I need to get a job, man. I don't want to go back. And they would reach out to me for my different supports. They didn't have cars. So we'd give them the scooters for free. We did it at the shelter. We did it to Ty's house, the recovering addict's house.
Okay.
So as these kids were running around playing with these scooters and it was taking the scooters by storm and they're taking Monroe by storm, nobody realized it was actually doing some beautiful work.
You were giving opportunity to people with no opportunity.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. So as a community, we did, because as a community, everybody took that program and they loved the scooters and they ran with it. And that's what they were really inadvertently doing.
Yep, supporting the scooter grind was helping these guys get to work. And because the first step of getting better is you got to start somewhere, bro. You got to start building the blocks.
Right. And that's what we work, So I mentioned to you guys, vocational rehabilitation, next step support. That's what I do. People say, well, what is that? I'm just a guy that helps you get what you do. One of my sales pitches, I tell people, come to my office, sit across my big, beautiful 8-foot table. Tell me what you want in life, and I'm gonna open up my phone, a little white phone right here, and I'm gonna call somebody. We're gonna start kicking doors down.
Yep.
How,
And
do, how does that happen?
it's just true. You got to open that door, and that's
Yeah.
what you do. You open the door to get their foot into it, and it's
So
up to them to keep going through that door.
right, and that's what. So people come in and say, "You must be like a life coach or a job coach." Or well, I don't know. I guess I'm just a guy, but Monroe's such a beautiful town, man. I've been from Monroe. I was in the streets. I was homeless. I was a homeless kid here in Monroe, eating out of garbage cans, and but I was also born here in Monroe or raised in Monroe. I moved here when I was 5. And from being in Monroe and then going through the struggles that I went through as a kid and growing up, and then I went to prison. So it's a pretty cool story. I went from inmate to consultant for the state.
Yep.
So they ask you, well, how did you do that? I use my resources and my network. This beautiful town of Monroe that we have here that people say they want to run away from. I've ran away 3 times and came back every time running.
Yep.
It's my support. When I was a homeless kid, people fed me. Those same people I got bonds with. Those homeless kids, you don't forget those people you were
Yep.
cold with.
Yep.
When you're living in a tent, don't touch the top of the tent. I don't want to get wet. If
Mhm.
you ain't never been homeless, you do not know what that means. If you live in a tent and it's raining, don't touch the top of the tent, people. You will get wet. Your clothes will get wet and you will soak. That was a struggle I came from, and that's a bond that we had with people. But it took me down a path of selling drugs and being a dope boy and all that. I made a lot of mistakes that way. And then I ended up, but when I was a drug dealer and I was dope boy, I was kind of nice. I never really shortchanged nobody, did bad business to
Yeah.
nobody. And then I went to prison, right?
Yeah. That's where it leads.
Right. I went to prison. And I swear we're going to get back to the whole beautiful town of Monroe and support network and how this comes to the vocational stuff. So I'm going to get to that, I promise.
But it's beautiful the way that the story is made to make it so it's so great now.
Because if I don't tell you what made you won't understand how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you do it because you're one of them.
Yeah, I am that homeless kid. I don't forget those people. Like to this day, like we still see each other. Yeah. We live different lives. Like I don't want to say their names.
Yeah, you don't have to say their names.
But I want to, but I don't. I'm like, so I got a friend. We call each other Gustus.
Okay.
Me and Gustus, we were homeless together. We lived in the tent together. We ate out of a garbage can together. Okay. You don't know what if the bond you have for somebody when you drop to your knees and you thank God that there was a half-eaten Lunchable in a garbage can, right. And you don't know how blessed it is to have somebody to share that beautiful meal with. Those people, I don't care what life brings you. Y'all are family forever.
Right.
So when I look at like the felons who come home, or I look at the homeless individuals, or I look at the handicapped individuals. My father was disabled. He had polio and scoliosis. He was. So when I look at that, I see myself. I see who I am. When I came home from prison, because I was a dope boy, I led to prison, all that fun stuff. When I came home, I had a choice. I paroled to the same neighborhood
that you got taken out of. Yeah.
Right. I hung out with the same friends. But there was a gentleman, divining. He said some of the best advice he ever gave to me. And I've lived by this my whole life since I came home from prison. On my way out to prison, the man he sticks his hand through. If you've ever been in jail, they got these little chutes by these metal doors. They slide your food through. They slide your mail through. It's like a little dog food chute. It's like just like in the movies.
Yeah.
I'm walking out of my unit, and his unit was right next to ours. We were in J and K unit right there. They have a shared entrance way, like a vestibule inside. It's weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was walking out of my pod, and he was by his pod, and he banged on the door, and they lowered the chute down, and he was like an uncle to me. He was one of my dad's childhood best friends.
Okay.
So ironically, we were in jail together. Good old uncle.
Yeah. But the best uncle, you know.
Right. But he was there for a reason, man. He was there for a reason. I believe that. He stuck his hand out and he grabbed my hand. And if you ever been in jail here in Monroe County Jail, they give you a wristband, right? He grabbed my wristband and he said, "Whose name is on that wristband?" I said, "Mine." He said, "Whose picture is on that wristband?" I said, "Mine." He said, "Whose time you going to do?" I said, "Mine." He said, "Remember that, nephew. You're doing your time. You don't have no friends. You need to live your life for you. Live your life for you and you will make it out and you will thrive." Yeah. He's like, "I can't live my life for me. That's why I'm here." Then they put the shackles on my feet. They put me on that bus, and that was the day I became 309236. And I
Yeah.
was not Omar Ferdin no more. But that was great advice. So when I paroled home, I did my own time. My friends wanted me to thug. I got raided by the DEA overseeing a raid for me. You hear a little video of Monroe. I wasn't getting a little bit of drug. I was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
My friends wanted me to do that. I had connections that they wanted to take advantage of, but I told them no.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, these were the same friends who had garbage cans with me. They truly loved me.
Right.
So when we at a garbage cans, we started selling drugs together. We climbed together.
Yeah. And you guys ate at the same table
Ate at
still.
the same,
Yeah.
yeah. And then when I said that's not what I want, Gus has loved me. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna live my life at different speed. I love you."
Yeah.
And we would go a year without seeing each other. We would go 2 years without seeing each other. I was blessed during that time to have failures. Okay, when I came home from prison, I had to face failures. I had to face a son. I had to face a son who I wasn't there for, and I had to face a son whose future I knew if I didn't change, I wasn't going to be there for.
Yeah.
I had a daughter who I didn't even know was my daughter until I came home. But I was also blessed with a beautiful support network. I mentioned my friends, right?
Yeah.
I was also blessed, and I tell people this all the time, man. For change, you have to have traumatic experiences.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay. My father died when I was in prison. My family did not tell me. They sat around the table, same table we broke bread with and ate meals with, and voted if they should tell me or not if I was in prison. If my dad died while I was in prison.
Right.
Fucking vote?
Yeah.
On my what?
On my dad? You can't.
The answer is yes. Tell him.
So you get out of prison and you find out your dad
Get out of prison. I find out my dad that the gate cracks. I run out. My whole family's there. Okay. They're all there. I give everybody hugs and kisses. My kids weren't there. I did not want my kids to see me there. My kids, my two kids, my oldest two kids did not. I didn't want them. They never seen me in prison and didn't come. I didn't want that. I didn't want that.
Didn't want that in their head.
I should have been. Maybe they needed to see their dad. I don't know. I may be selfish. I don't know. But that's how I handled that situation. I run out. Rest of my family's there. Everybody but my dad. I knew my dad was sick. So I hug all my family. We get done. I hug everybody, hugs and kisses. Where's Pops? Everybody gets quiet. My mama steps forward and she says he's not with us no more. I said, okay. When's the service? It was last month. It was a beautiful service though, mijo. What? I wanted to run back in to close the gates. Like, what the fuck you talking? What are you talking about?
Yeah. What the hell?
Right. Then that was a real
how many months before you got out? Like what?
1 month.
1 month before
Literally
you got out?
1 month. I think it was July 3rd and I got out August 8th.
Would you have been able to go out to the funeral?
That was the reason they no. If you were in prison, you would have been yes. But I was in Cassidy Lake boot camp. It was a 3-month program. I wasn't allowed to leave. If I would have left, I would have had to go back to prison and start my prison bit.
And then do your whole prison
do the time over. So it was literally, don't tell me. Because their options were to tell me and I not get to come home. Or
not tell you come home in a month.
Yeah, and I get to come home in a month. Or I spaz out in there. They don't know because I can't come home.
Right.
Or I do come home and then I got to do 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my options. So they had what options do you present Omar with? So they voted and they decided that it was best to not tell me.
Kind of. I mean, that's good too, though.
It's they meant well. It fucking hurt, man. I've been bitter about it for years.
Oh, for real? Still to this day?
It hurts, man. It robbed me from grieving for my dad.
You couldn't say goodbye one last time. Yeah,
I mean, get that. And at a day like today, I take the goodbye. It seems real special.
Yeah. It's
that hurt. But man, that was a blessing. I've been bitter about that, but that's one of the reasons why I don't sell dope no more.
Yeah.
Don't take away my control.
Yeah, because if I go back to prison, shit like this could happen again, and where the fuck am I going to be?
Right.
Sitting in prison.
And they're going to be voting.
Yeah, they're going to be voting on my life. Like, what the
again?
Fuck? Right.
So if you don't want people to vote on your life, if you don't want people to control your life, don't give them the control.
Don't go to jail.
Don't be an idiot. Period.
Because you had inmate numbers and now you have an employee ID with the
Yes.
government.
Yeah. Right. I
You
do.
still have numbers, but they're way cooler.
They write me checks.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
dude. It came so full circle. We are developing the contracts for Michigan Department of Corrections to do mentoring program. The state of Michigan in 2003 locked me in a box. We're all over the board too. Jumping
Yeah.
over. In 2003, look, full circle, you guys. Look, we're gonna back up a little bit also because I want to finish telling y'all the story. But he just touched on like I went from inmate to check numbers. Michigan Department of Corrections now we're doing the contract negotiations. I would have had the contract signed today, but had tragedy.
Yeah.
I will share about that too. But we're literally arguing over. We're negotiating one number for one of the programs. But I'm a mentor for the state of Michigan. The head of MDOC's area for around here for Region 9, this region is southeastern Michigan, like the bottom of the mitten.
Yeah.
Came to me and said exact words, Mr. Ferdin. This is a beautiful thing. I love this was one of the most proudest things somebody ever said to me. Mr. Ferdin. Remember, inmate 309, 336. Now I'm Mr. Ferdin.
Yeah.
Mr. Ferdin, we want to pay you to teach us to make more people like you. Can you do that?
And you know why they realize that though? It's because they fucking know that you have that. You were one of them.
Yeah.
You're one of them. So you're the fucking opening light that somebody looks at and like,
yes,
if he can do it, I can fucking do it.
Right. So that's where the life story comes into, that's where when I come home, I parole to the network to place and I'm back in the same neighborhood. I could have easily started selling dope again.
Mm-hmm. You had all the contacts and people wanted you to do it because they were like, hey, let's make more money.
Right. So you remember I tell you about the blessings, right? I was blessed with the tragedy of having kids who I had to look in the face and know that I failed them.
Yeah.
I failed my baby boy. This was my legacy. I ain't here. He don't, that hurt. Yeah. I was blessed with the tragedy of my family taking control of my life. That shit hurt. It still hurts. Thank them for that. Those are reasons why I didn't go back. And then I was blessed with the support of a beautiful woman. All right.
It's always good.
Man, look, I can sit and tell you all these things bad about me and all these different things. And we're going to talk about my whole life story. We're going to talk about when I was a homeless kid. We've mentioned when I was a homeless, using garbage cans.
Yeah.
We can mention when I was a dope boy. When I was a dope boy, I met this woman named Carrie. Okay. Carrie has been there with me through it all. I mean, when I did my bit, people was jealous. Mail runs 6 days a week. She wrote me a letter 7. Every Monday, I got letters 2 days. I got letters twice on Monday.
Right.
I mean, that was like clockwork. You're allowed 7 visits a month. She came for every one.
Right.
If my mom and them came, she was there. Sometimes none of my family came, but she was there. She did my bit with me.
That's a good woman.
Dude, we've been through so much, man. I've been a piece of shit. She's broke my heart. There's things that we've done to each other. People say, man, y'all ain't walked away from each other yet?
Yeah, why? Yeah, why?
Fucking why? She was there when I was nobody. She was there when nothing was there. She was there when I was an animal locked in a box. She's been there for it all.
Mm-hmm. She's seen you at your worst.
Right, man. Everything. She loved me for who I am, and she was there when I built myself. She fought me. She argued with me. Carrie said something to me, man. It was one of the most impactful things anybody ever said to me, and it hurt. But remember, I keep talking about tragedy and pain. That shit's good.
You rise from the ashes.
It builds you.
Always rise from the ashes.
Why cry about it, man? Own that shit. Build it. Scars are beautiful. Mater loves all his scars. Mm-hmm. They're dents. Mater loves his dents. Man, Carrie told me one day, I was home from prison. I was on tether. I was still arrogant, cocky, angry. And I tried to tell something. I tried to be controlling, right? I'm not controlling, man. I really ain't. I'm not. I told her not to do something. I'm gonna tell her I'm locked in the house. You're gonna sit in the house with me. You ain't going out to the club or something.
Something stupid like that.
Something petty, something stupid.
If I gotta do it, you gotta do it, bitch. Yeah,
right. I've been locked. I miss you. You don't love me. I've been gone for
right.
So I started being a dick. And she says to me, I love her for it. And she said these words to me. And at this time, I was living in my mama's basement. I was an ex-dope boy working at McDonald's on tether, living in an unfinished basement, sleeping on a twin-size bed with my girlfriend, thinking I was somebody. I was going to do something.
Yeah.
Okay. And I tried to tell she was going to listen to what I did. Keep in mind, this is the same one that supported me when I was in jail. wrote me. She's still by
She's
me.
been there.
Right. Now I'm gonna come home. I'm tell her what to do. I'm gonna question them. I'm
Be
gonna be an asshole.
Yeah.
She looked me dead in the face. And I'm allowed to like slightly cuss. I'm allowed to cuss. We allowed to cuss.
Say whatever you want.
Okay.
Dude.
She looked at me, and I have to say it this way. She says to me, and it was a beautiful thing, man. I remember it, man. It was hurtful though. She says to me, "Motherfucker, you offer nothing but a bag of weed and a piece of dick. I can get that anywhere." Boom.
I need to bring my offers up.
You know what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what the fuck I did?
Make myself worth a little bit more.
I enrolled myself in college next
really?
week and failed.
Hey man,
but I enrolled in college.
Failure though, at least you got there.
Look, I enrolled in college. I was untethered. My parole agent told me I had to work full time. I was working, going to school full time, working full time, trying to be a part-time father. Because if you ain't with your mother, the mother of your kids, I don't care how you get every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You a weekend warrior. You are a part-time father.
Yeah.
I got a 22-year-old son, an 18-year-old daughter, and I love them to death. And I was the biggest part of I could be with them. But I was a part-time father.
Yeah.
Period. I wasn't that. I was there every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they needed me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are regrets I live with.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 kids, Newton Young. I have kids now with Carrie. So those are things I think about. But I was blessed with a beautiful woman. I was blessed with a woman who loved me enough to support me and be there with me and tell me what I needed to hear.
She it's kind of some people can take it like they were picking at you, but that was motivation.
I deserved it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you punch somebody, they're gonna punch you back.
You're a fucking bag of weed and a dick. That's all you are, dude. There's 20 dudes out there that want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And she loved me. So, so the story starts as a broken kid, made wrong choices. I could have easily looked at it like my poor family.
It was my fault, or it was my family's fault,
right.
My upbringing and all that.
I could have looked at it like, and she's listening to me, and I'm gonna say something. She don't like me saying. She broke bad when I was in prison. She cheated on me with a friend of mine. Full disclosure, though, my daughter, who I didn't know was mine, I cheated on her with my ex.
Okay.
So she was hurt. What you created a baby, fool? You in prison? What do you think's gonna happen? She was hurt, but she never stopped. She never stopped seeing me. She never stopped my letters. She never stopped putting money on I came home from prison. I came home from prison with $2,800. I paid off my restitution. I got my license back. I bought new clothes. I went and got good.
You saved all that money on your books
because my baby kept giving me money.
Right,
I couldn't spend it all.
Right.
She was working and giving me money, like working for me. Like, so when I come home and I want to be mad at this woman for what?
Yeah, for what? What?
Right.
She's literally busting her ass for you.
You fast forward and people talk about me and Carrie. Well, that's me and Carrie.
Yeah,
like
that's
y'all
our
don't
business.
Y'all don't know what she's done. So I was blessed with that. So now I come home and I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I want to change. So it was about perspective. And that's what I tell people to come through my door. It's about perspective. You have to look at things a certain way. And so what if the world isn't fair, man? Like I had to eat that shit sandwich. Like literally eat it. I tell you have to eat a shit sandwich. Life's gonna give you choices you don't want.
Yep.
You got to eat that sandwich. And you don't get filet mignon every day.
Yep.
Some days it's a rotten bologna.
Yep.
And I literally ate rotten bologna because that was my sandwich.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I say, but now look at me. I have the big, beautiful office overlooking the rivers. The judges are underneath me. I'm above the lawyers. The people who said I was nobody.
Yeah.
They literally are underneath me. My building, literally, I must stand above them. They literally want my view. So it started with the perspective. It started with the family, man. So when I came home, I said, I went to college. I failed. Got off parole, right? My parole agent told me I could not go to college. I could not quit working. Either way I go, I had to work full time.
Right.
I knew I couldn't work and go to school full time. I didn't have the life skills, the capacity. I was a high school dropout.
You were still a young jackass, You're just getting out of prison and shit.
Right. And I only went as far as 10th grade 3 times. I made it 10th grade.
Damn near 13th grade, dude.
Right, dude. Right. But I did take my GED on my own, and I barely passed, but I passed.
Did you pass it in prison?
No, on my own. When my high school year, my high school graduated in 98, was a class 98.
Okay.
The next summer I kept like studying, and then 99 I went and took my test on my own.
Okay, so you took it.
Man, was Mo, man, he was a very I was homeless as youth for a reason. Okay. Um, the childhood was rough. It got kind of ugly. My old man, he was a good man. Everybody loved my old man, but he was a handicap. He was disabled. He had polio, scoliosis. The
Okay.
world wasn't easy for him.
It wasn't at
Life wasn't
all.
easy. So
Yeah.
he wanted to prepare his three boys to be strong
Yeah.
and willed and able to deal with anything. So he would give us these life lessons, man, right? The conversation was always deep. They always ended with a punch to the chest. Sometimes the jaw, but he always it was like it
Right.
was like an exclamation mark, man, right? But one thing he always said was the importance of education. So even though I was a dope boy, I was a homeless kid, I was struggling. I knew that I was always going to be that if I didn't go to school. So I did get my GED on my own.
Okay.
But when I graduated off parole, 10th grade, 3 times in a row, barely passing your GED, man, I was so far behind when I went to college. So when I was trying to work and go to school, I failed. So when
Because it's a lot to juggle. That's a
yes,
lot to
right.
juggle, even if you're fucking
So
a perfect scholar.
yes.
You know?
So the minute I got off parole, I went to my mother. We had a rocky relationship, up until that time. I was a homeless kid. I was dope boy. I mean,
You were angry. You were
right,
just pissed.
right. I went to my mama, and even though I was mad about the funeral, I was mad about all kinds of things with my family. I went to my mom and I said, "Mama, look, we ain't got the best relationship. I know I'm grown and I know I'm supposed to be out in the world, but I'm gonna have a shitty life the rest." And I said it to her just like this: "I'm gonna have a shitty life the rest of my life, and I'm never gonna be able to take my kids to Disneyland, Mama, if I don't live in your basement again. I know I got off parole, and I know you kicked me out, and you told me that I'm grown and
Yeah.
I get the fuck on.
Yeah.
But please, Mama, one more chance. I promise I'll do good. This was my third time being at home. When I was 16, they kicked me out. When I was off on parole, she kicked me out. But my mama, she let me come back home again.
Okay.
She said, "You got this much time. You got 3 years. After 3 years, I don't care if you've graduated. I don't care if you whatever not. This is our deal."
3 years, you're out, no matter what. Yeah.
We made an agreement. $50 a week in rent. If I wanted cable in the house, it was on me because she wasn't paying for cable. I washed my own dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I went half on the groceries, or I bought my own groceries. At the Ferdin household, we don't fight about food, so you just bring food. If it's in the fridge, it's getting ate.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, straight up.
And if you ain't bringing food in the fridge, come on, man, what's the hell?
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, right. I don't care. We don't care if it's bologna, man.
Bologna, bro.
Yeah,
what
bring in the bologna, right? Hey, it ain't gotta be fancy. Bring in the ramen noodles.
Yeah.
So the dishes, I hate dishes. So my agreement was $50 a week, paper plates and cups and silverware. My mom was cool because that was less dishes, and I did that for 3 years. 3 years got done. I had an associate's degree.
What'd you study?
Mechanical design.
Oh shit.
I went to school for mechanical design, and then I got certificate in mechanical engineering. I'm a drafter by trade.
Okay.
So I went to school for 3 years. Now keep in mind, I was still the whole time hanging out with my friends. I'm getting government money. I'm taking loans. I'm taking grants.
Yeah.
They out here hustling for dope boy money. They scrapping up a couple grand a month.
Yeah.
I got the government giving me $2,000 a month to live and to breathe easy to go to school. So my friends at this time, instead of them talking to me into selling dope, I'm telling them how to get free money. So it started off as a joke. Like I told my friend,
I did it. Look, you can do it, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, look, man, if you don't want to go to school, fool, they just gave me $3,000. What can you do if somebody gives you $3,000? How much money can you make off that $3,000? Oh man, I can flip this, flip that.
Yeah.
But what they didn't know is I was planting that seed of them investments. And then I didn't want to go back to prison. So I started looking at alternative means of different sources of income.
Okay.
So I ended up owning my own chop shop. It was my first business I ever owned was North Shore Salvage and Sales. What I really did was I got an old abandoned shop with a lift in it. It used to be a mechanic shop. I started buying cars, scrap junk cars on the side of the road, put an ad in the newspaper, and take them to the scrap yard, right? People do it all the time.
Yeah.
But they were leaving meat on the bone. So I rented a shop and started lifting cars up and taking all the parts you can take off of them.
Yeah. All the wiring, all that, yeah.
Right. The Cadillac converters, the alternators, the airbags, the Mustang seats, the leather seats, all that.
Yeah.
And my old dope boy friends who were good at selling, I just said, "Hey man, you want to hustle? I got this hustle. Look, I got these parts here. Here's the internet. Here's how you use it.
Yeah.
I'll pay you 10% of whatever you sell. I don't care if you sell this part for $1 or
Gave them all
$100.
commission, bro.
They didn't start eating.
Yeah.
And then they didn't say, well, you're buying cars. Yeah, but look, how'd you buy that car, Omar? Off this government money, this student loan that is for my house. They give you stupid amount of money that the young kids use to buy hoodies for their alma mater or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't buy a hoodie. I bought a junk car and turned that $100 hoodie into a $100 car, ripped the pieces and make $500 off of it.
So I'm making money off of my shit.
I then started showing all my dope boy friends. They also, while that was going on, the state was making me, while I was on parole, because of that, but while I was on parole, they were making me volunteer. I learned that volunteering made me
feel good.
The brand Omar will tell you, yeah, it made me feel good. Me right now, the guy you got in front of you, no, it gave me a powerful network. It exposed me to other people. It now allowed me other resources. I was now volunteering at backpack festivals and community giveaways and all these other things, and I was meeting the mayor.
Ooh.
I was now the lady who approves my community service hours was now saying, "Well, wow, Omar, you're only 50. You've been here all week. You've been here all month. Like,
you got your community service done. You
like,
don't need to be here again." So, yeah, I do.
Yeah. But what I was doing is I was building a network. So, as that homeless youth in the streets eating, as the dope boy who's still loving his friends, and when I came home, I didn't say, "Oh, y'all dope boys, I'm better than y'all. I'm not doing that no more."
Here's a different way, guys.
I said, "Hey, I'm still Omar, man. I just ain't selling dope, but what's up, man? You want to go half on this pizza?"
Yeah.
I mean, all right, I'm going to school. You going to sell dope? Cool. I'll be out of school about 8, man. You want them? What you doing at about 8?
Yeah.
Are you done selling dope? Oh, cool. You want to play the Xbox?
Yeah. Same shit. It's just you're doing different shit for yourself.
I'm listening to Divining. I'm doing my own time.
Yep.
I'm living my own path. I'm not letting my friends and my support network.
You're not susceptible to
what's
going on.
And I'm surrounded by true friends, the friends who touched that top of that tent with me, who are going to love me unconditionally. The ones who didn't aren't there.
Right.
So the dope boy friends who cared if I sold dope, well, they don't come around no more.
Right.
But Gus's, he still was there. That's still my baby.
Yeah.
So I'm expanding this network. I'm becoming more powerful, because that's what it is. Knowledge and resources are power.
Power. That is.
When I needed a job, well, I just volunteered with the Rendinas. I just volunteered with Michigan Bar and Grill. We was doing the program, and it was at their location. Johnny and Joe Ray like me now.
Right.
Hey, Johnny with the good hair. Joe Ray with the good hair. I need a job, man. But I can only work these couple hours. So I'm going to school. And can you work with me? No problem, Omar.
Yeah. Because you made a friendship with them. They're like, I got
my network, my resources.
Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, bro.
Yes. In this, remember I mentioned earlier, y'all, this beautiful little network town of Monroe that I ran away from and come back.
Beautiful town.
Because of things like that.
Yeah.
The network that you can build.
Because the community is great.
Yes. The community it builds you, man. I see it every day. It's what I do professionally. Use the community to build people.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
So we do this I do that, and I'm getting this power. And that's the little angle, the little side of me, right? But that's the hustler in me. But I'm using my powers for good now. It's allegedly. So from 2007, okay, so I get off parole. I now do the most logical thing. I quit my job.
Yeah, so smart.
I quit my job. I give up keys to my house. I buy a one-way ticket to Texas, because I'm going to do some soul searching. I might not ever come back to Monroe.
Right.
Did that soul searching. Walked in the desert with the tumbleweeds and all that shit. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like a fucking
cowboy.
Yeah.
I done got off parole.
Big enough for 2 of us.
Yeah, right. So real logical shit to do. So I quit by one-way ticket, and I go down and do that soul searching. And what I realized was I need to come home. I need to ask my mama to let me move home. I need to go to college full time. I need to build that path, because I want to take my kids to Disneyland. I want to give my son something to look up to.
Okay.
I want to be a role model. I want a legacy. I want someday for my son to be sitting in the other room while somebody asks me, say, "Hey, you done some good things. Tell me about your life." I want that. One of my idols is Ben Franklin. Okay. Ben Franklin said, I'm gonna probably mess the quote up, but it goes something like this. Uh, uh, to have a life worth lived, or to live a life worth living, you either have to do something worth writing about or write worth something reading.
Okay.
So in other words, don't waste your fucking life, man. Do something with it.
Do something.
Make somebody say you did something. So as I'm walking through the tumbleweeds in the desert, literally in San Antonio, literally outside of San Antonio in Brownsville, I'm walking through. It's like it's late. It's nighttime, man. It's like 2 a.m, man. Like coyotes is howling and shit.
Right.
And I'm walking out just in mesquite wood trees, and it's just whatever, and it hit me, man. Yeah, you've got off parole. Yeah, you've beat that.
But
yeah,
you
you're
living?
working. Yeah, right. But what are you doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do? What is your
walking around Texas?
What is your son gonna say about you when it's all said and done?
My dad ran away to Texas.
Right. Coward. Coward. That's not my legacy. I didn't want that. That ate at me. So I bought a ticket. I came back. I went to college. I then started teaching my friends. We kind of like jumped back and forth a little bit.
Right.
So I then started teaching my friends how to go to college and everything. I'm already volunteering. Then Kelly Viney, y'all, if many of y'all know Councilwoman Kelly Viney, she's a councilwoman for the East End of Monroe, the Orchard East community. Beautiful woman. She's been serving for 8 years. This is her next term. I think she's about to do 10. This woman literally gives of herself. This woman, I credit her just as much as I do my mother for supporting me to be in the man I am. 3 women. Carrie, my mom, and Kelly Viney.
You need powerful women in your life, man.
These 3 women smacked me in the head when I needed to be, and they hugged me when I needed to be hugged. And they showed me the opportunity to other paths. So what Kelly did was she put me on the City of Hope CDC. Okay. It was a nonprofit to focus on revitalizing and helping out the Orchard East community.
Okay.
It was good. We did a lot of talking, a lot of meetings. We actually got I want to say it was like $350,000 block grant. I think that's the number. To do a bunch of like renovation and different stuff down there. So we did a little bit good.
It's been looking nice over there.
Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. That was like 2007.
Okay.
But that seed, part of that group, they asked me, Will Swept, director of community center. And he asked me to give a speech about hope, education, hope, opportunity, and education for returning citizens.
Okay.
I was a returning citizen. I'd only had completed my certificate at the time, but I now had a part-time job at Backyard Products.
Okay.
Not slanging the wood, not in the shop.
You were in the office.
I was in the office. I was designing the sheds that my dope boy friends who was coming home on parole was building.
Yep.
So I was coming out on the office giving them the blueprints, and they was looking like, wait a minute, and they were temps. So half of them were temps.
So Omar ate out the trash with you, dog.
Yeah. and so instead of eating lunch in the office with the engineers, I would go on the floor and eat lunch with the workers.
Because those are your people.
Right. We ate out of garbage together.
Yeah.
I know y'all. I love y'all. Right. So now I got this job. I gave a speech talking about how to get this. People are starting to see this. A man, I don't even remember the guy's name. Man said another impactful statement to me. Just as impactful as Carrie saying them other things to me. Right. Just as impactful as my parents telling me, my mom telling me they voted without me. I could see the speech about hope and opportunity, okay, and the different things you work on. It's a whole spiel. It's a formula we use that I developed. And the man talks to me about comes to me, shakes my hand. He says, now he was older than me at the time. I'm only like 27 at the time.
Okay.
And this man was in his mid-30s, late 30s, something like that. You know, he was state built, so he's probably about his 40s. You know, you age less when you're incarcerated. You eat healthier.
Yeah.
No car, none of that grease and stuff, whatever. So, and you work out, you lift weights and stuff. So you stay healthier. So, he was probably older. And he comes to me and he says, Mr. Ferdin, I'm looking for my dad.
Yeah.
Mr. Ferdin.
What the hell you calling me that for?
Yeah, I'm Omar. I'm just that guy. And he shakes my hand. He gives me the 2-handed shake, shakes my hand and embraces it with the other hand. He embraces me with his
caress. I call that a hand caress.
Yeah. And he looks me dead in the eye. He's so genuine. He says, I want to be like you. And me. He says, I have a record. I know I'm never gonna get a good job, and I want to go to college, and I don't know how to enroll. Can you please help me enroll? I love that man for that because he was the first.
That was the opening the door
He
of
was the
what you're doing
first
now.
of 34 convicts that I enrolled. Okay.
Holy shit. Wait, at that time you did?
No, from 2007 to 2018. He was the
Okay.
first of 34 from 2007 to 2018.
All
Not-
felons.
All felons. Convicts, not felons. Convicts.
Yeah, you got good got them good jobs and good.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. So during that time, I not only did I enroll them, I tutored them. You remember those? Did I mention about being a part-time father and the kids needing you on the weekdays?
Yeah.
So those days that my family was suffering and sacrifice, because my son didn't have me, my daughter didn't have me.
Oh.
But what I was doing during those days, those people I enrolled, those 34, we would tutor them. We being that good support network carried. I was running tutoring groups and mentoring groups and study sessions out of my house while I was going to school. Remember, in 2007, I just had a certificate.
Yeah.
I now have two engineer degrees, mechanical design and mechanical engineering.
Okay.
It took me 11 years to get.
Ah, dang, boy.
It took me 11 years to get two-year degrees.
Right.
But it don't say no time frame on that certificate.
Don't say it, yeah.
So Eric Thomas said that, a motivational speaker. He said it took me, I forgot, it took him a whole long time, but it don't say no time frame. So I tell people that I was dumb as a box of rocks. I was a high school dropout. I fucking took 10th grade 3 year times in a row.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was going to school 2 days a week and taking 2 to 3 days a week plus 5 days a week. I had study sessions at my house with my fellow convicts.
Yeah.
So while I was in tutoring them and enrolling them, they was graduating. And Carrie and me, we it's one of my most proudest achievements. And I can't say if I didn't do it without Carrie. We enrolled 34 convicts and watched 23 graduate with some form of degree.
Damn.
I love that shit, man.
That's good percentage too.
Half of them went back to prison. Half of them moved on and continued. And Gus's, my friend from the tent, that fucker, man, he is a quality auditor for the laborers union. He's a supervisor, quality guy.
That boy makes bread, son.
He has a house. We call it on Vistoria Lane. He had one of these nice little house neighborhoods here. The house at the end of the thing is Vistoria Lane. That's where his family is, for his wife and his kids. They live. He also has, because he drives and works up and that way.
Okay.
He has his fucking man cave, man. He has a man house out in Easter. He got
a man building.
Yeah, man. So he has a good job. He was part of those study groups. Also,
he believed in you, bro. And look where he's at now.
Right. So we plant the hope and we get that going. So after we did the 34, I ran out of people to help. Remember that beautiful woman, Kelly Vine, and I told you about, who helped me with that?
Yeah.
I go to Kelly and I say, Kelly, this shit makes me feel good. It keeps me out of trouble. It helps me on those lonely nights when I ain't really being a dad and from going out partying and being on that bullshit.
Yeah.
Can you please help me create a support group? I say, we as felons, as convicts, we need support groups, not AA and NA. I ain't an addict. I might smoke pot. I'm a pothead.
Yeah.
I don't smoke crack. I don't have those types. It's a different
Some of us don't need just NA or AA.
Right.
Some of us need something else.
Right. So we created the support group that started off as felons. Right. And what this support group did was we were kind of like, it was built like an AA or NA. We all gonna hug each other and say kumbaya and all that, but we don't need to do that for a whole hour.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half. So the first half
tell your truth and get on with it. Let's learn about fixing it.
Right. So the first hour and a half, you remember I told you about that volunteering, that network, all that power I was building. I was sitting on boards and I was volunteering, making all these new friends. Well, if y'all have been telling me for 15 years that you love to see that I've changed my life and it inspires you, well, how about inspire your ass to come to my support group?
Yeah. And you help too.
And be a speaker and talk about what your agency does and how you can help people like myself, because they don't have the knowledge and they don't know the resources that are out here, because knowledge is power. Remember, I told you it was making me powerful.
Yeah.
It was.
And when you're taken away from society, you don't have no fucking network.
You don't know. And then you come home and people are saying you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. You're a felon. Oh, fuck that guy.
Right.
He's a felon.
Well, I got 9 felonies, 12 misdemeanors, and beat 15 charges. Got rated by the DEA and was on the FBI's top 100 list. Okay, in 2003. With all that said, I've worked for Lazy Boy World Headquarters as an engineer. I've worked for Thermotech Engineering doing heating and cooling systems for military vehicles, government fucking contracts.
As a fucking criminal.
As a top 100 motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I made the billboard. I made the billboard.
Yeah.
So let's play this game that you are a felon and you can't succeed. Let's play this game that your daddy whooped on you and you can't succeed.
Yeah.
Let's play this game that you were homeless and you can't succeed. There's a thing called a Asus Test. It's a adverse child experiences. The psychologists use it.
Okay.
It's a 1 out of 10. It's shit like were you molested? Were you did your parents go to prison? Were you whatever and all that? Like, did you deal with traumatic experiences?
Yep.
I'll tell you flat out, I'll tell everybody in their face, when you sit across my table, I'm a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. There ain't one experience that somebody can say they had it I didn't experience. There ain't, you want to play a record. There's very few people who, when we say, let's play that criminal record game, they can beat 9 felonies, 12 misdemeanors.
Right. Because 9 felonies, 12 misdemeanors, you're probably locked up for a long time.
Yeah,
know?
Man. Yeah. I was blessed. I've been very blessed, man. So, with all that said, so I started like with Kelly Vining. I run out of people to help. I say, I need people to help. Okay. So Kelly Vining said, we can create this support group. So I say, people, y'all want to help us. You believe in me. We've been fucking feeding the hungry and volunteering for 15 years together. Now I need directors like Stephanie Kasperzak, director of MCOP.
Okay.
Stephanie, I call her on her cell phone. I built that network. I have that power now. I don't need to call the operator. White phone right here.
Yeah, I ain't calling your assistant.
I'm gonna call the director. Remember,
I
said that white phone. I pick it up. We open doors. Call Stephanie directly. Stephanie, can you do me a favor, please? I need you to talk about everything you guys can do as MCOP to my group. I need you to come speak for 30 minutes. And after that, we're going to do our 30 minutes kumbaya. We're going to hug each other and cry. We're going to complain about our baby mamas.
Yep.
We're going to talk about we can't get jobs and all that. We're going to talk about house, but we need you to come talk about that. Okay.
But there is an opportunity.
Right. And then all these different agencies start coming to my support group. All these different groups start talking about it and made my support group more powerful. One of the groups that came one day was Michigan Rehabilitation Services. Okay. Are you familiar with who MRS is?
No.
They help people. It kind of sounds similar to what I do. They help individuals gain and maintain employment with reoccurring medical conditions.
Okay.
That's their qualification. You have to, and not necessarily handicap, but yes, handicaps and full-fledged disabilities count. But if you have a form of a reoccurring medical condition, they will help you gain and maintain employment. That also counts as substance abuse. Substance abuse, mental illness go hand in hand with felons and returning citizens.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand. So I reached out to MRS one day and I said, hey, can you guys come speak about your employment opportunities? And that's where life threw me a different curveball. I need to give a little bit of credit. That support group that I created, I went to Kelly Vining and I said, help me create that support group. We sat at a table. Prior to that meeting, me and Carrie, we talked about what I would dream for a support group. She knew it would take away from the family and knew it would take, by this time, me and her had a daughter. Okay. She knew it was gonna take time away. So she wasn't too
gung-ho.
Right. But I wanted it. So she knew how it made me feel to help my,
because it wasn't going to bring in any money what you were doing for. Yeah.
It was free. It was pro bono. Like it was literally nothing but taking time.
Right.
And what did my support group? They did more than just this kumbaya stuff. I had to have meetings with directors. I had to create agendas. I had to create meeting minutes. So that the professionals would know what I needed to come talk about, what the agendas are, and keep track of it.
Right.
So that I could keep them in a rotation for a cycle. I wanted this to be an ongoing thing. So this now was starting to create a little job. Also, during this support group, I'm not going to sit around and listen. You just cry about you ain't got no job. So I created job leads. I partnered with Carrie Grail from Michigan Works, and by her partnering with, she's the felon liaison for Michigan Works. Mm-hmm. What that means, I just say, hey Kelly, hey Carrie Grail, I'm working with felons and support group. Can you do me a favor? Email me y'all's weekly job list so I can pass it out. Mm-hmm. I went to the state of Michigan made me do all the support groups and when I came home from prison, all the rentry stuff at Michigan Works, the resumes and all that. But my felons and my friends, they wouldn't want to always go to Michigan Works. Half time they got warrants and got on the run, so they scared to do stuff like that. So instead of telling them to go to Michigan Works, I started doing resumes at my support group. I started giving people job leads.
You help them build resumes.
Correct. We then started doing mock interviews with each other.
Like you were a fucking business owner, and then okay,
right. And we then also started when one of us found an apartment. I didn't need one. I had a family, but as I found an apartment, I had a house with Carrie and everything. As I found the apartment, I would share it with my friends. As you come through the sport, where you find an apartment, but this apartment building got 3-4 open, they felon friendly. You share it.
right?
You might get a three.
It's your own little network,
right?
Too.
Right. You built. You might find a house with a 3-bedroom, you can't afford it. But guess what?
You got 2 other felons that are working, trying to do the same thing.
Roommates.
Yeah.
So we made it happen. We then started doing carpooling. We started solving these problems. So when Michigan Rehabilitation comes, they talk about what they do. The next day, Julie McLaughlin. I love this woman. She's a great woman. She helped me go to the next level.
Okay.
So during the support group, as we was building it, Carrie was there, Kelly Vining, and the other person I wanted to give credit to was Anthony Hoskins.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Anthony Hoskins?
Mm-hmm.
He was the acting director at the community center at the time.
Yep.
He's the I think he's activities coordinator now for them. Great man. I love this guy to death. Carrie helped me with the concept. I then went to Kelly and Anthony and I said, this is what I want to do. They helped implement it. They helped me with the resources and some of the connection between them and my connection. We did the first year with the agenda out.
Because once they believe in your shit, they're going to open their book of resources.
Yes. And Anthony was there. He's from the neighborhood. He had been seeing me enroll those 34 convicts and watch 23 graduate.
That's a beautiful fucking thing too.
Right. So he was in. Kelly Vining was there. I gave that speech. We gave that speech at the community center in 2007. Anthony Hoskins was there too.
Mm-hmm.
So they were there. They seen the beginning. They planted the seed. Carrie was there. She seen the beginning. She planted the seed. The other person I want to give credit to is my sister-in-law. She had went to school to be a social worker. She actually is a master's degree in social worker. I think she's 31 now.
Okay.
But she was like 28 years old when we started, like 27 at the support group when we started, something like that. Fresh out of her career, she had a lot of knowledge, a lot of ambition. She looked at the program. She looked at how everything was going, and she kind of gave her professional opinion. So in my support group, I had an active city council member with over 15 years of Philip, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever. It's a big word.
I had a community director of the community center from the community who had been standing by me, seeing me build this together. I had a beautiful woman who had watched the transformation, as hard-headed as I was and how much we had went through it, but she had seen it.
Right.
I also had a support network of an educated professional who helped me get this going.
Okay.
So that when the program, the volunteer support room came out and the professionals came, it was a real deal. It looked good. It was right.
Yeah.
It was AANA quality. It was great.
Yeah.
Other professionals came and it started having an impact. We started doing good. It was being noticed. MRS then came and be a speaker. Julie McLaughlin came. She's the other person who gets credited in this story.
Yeah.
My family and all of them do too, but I guess I shouldn't say. But anyways,
but they've been there your whole life.
Right.
Everybody knows your family is your support group, no matter what. Right.
So Julie took it from she took the support group and made it a business. Well, she didn't make it a business. She showed me of an opportunity, and
she gave you a blueprint.
Here's what she did. She says, "Hey Omar, I really like your group. Can you do me a favor? Can we meet tomorrow? We have a meeting tomorrow?" I had a good job at the time, an engineering job. I was a project manager. They let me flex my schedule, right?
Okay.
When I needed to do for my support group.
Okay.
So I called my owner and I told him, I said, I'm gonna take a half day. I got a meeting. No problem, Omar. Adjust your schedule. You're good. I went and met with Julie McLaughlin. She then tells me, she says, MRS, we do people with recurrent medical conditions, and give me their whole spiel. Well, yes, I know. That's why I asked you guys to come speak.
Yeah, come help. Yeah.
I knew who you were. What's this meeting about? She says, well, I contract individuals to do exactly what you do at MRS. She wasn't the director. She's just the counselor. She's like, here at MRS.
Right.
What we hire individuals to do job placement, to help our felons with recurrent medical conditions find jobs, do their resumes, do mock interviews, find
same shit that you just explained to me that you do.
Right. She was like, can I pay you to do it? And well, I
Well,
have
you're
a good.
doing it for free.
I'm like, yeah, you could pay me. I'm doing it for free, but I have a good job. Like I'm an engineer. I have
Right.
a family. Like, what are you talking?
Baby's got to eat, sweetheart.
Right, right. So she says, well, it's very lucrative, but you're running your own business. And your job is to get felons jobs and handicapped felons jobs. And I don't know how stable it is. I can't guarantee it. I don't know. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a tough one there, buddy.
Because that's jumping off a cliff.
You're asking me to jump off a cliff.
Yes. With the parachute, that might work.
Right, right. So I've been blessed. So I was blessed again. I keep saying that, man. And because I am just a guy, man, who's been given opportunities and ran with them. Remember, I mentioned my job let me flex my schedule a little bit, right? Remember, I told you I had a woman, right? Remember, I mentioned a little bit ago on the Mondays and Tuesday nights, my family was sacrificing, right?
Yeah.
So to this date, all this good I have been doing, every hug I have been giving to the community, only people that really paid the price was my son, my daughter, and Carrie. Okay, but now I have another daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's 4 years old now.
Okay.
Okay, me and Carrie had just had a baby. Actually, Carrie was pregnant at the time. We hadn't had our baby yet. And I'm presented with this opportunity.
So you and Carrie got 3 kids together?
No, we got two. Okay. I misspoke. She hadn't had a baby yet. She was pregnant at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Jeez.
So, yeah. So so I'm presented with this opportunity to chase my dream. This is something I love to do. I'm doing it for free.
Right.
But can I guarantee it's going to feed my family and put them bills on there? And she supported me. And it's a lot of risk.
It's a good fucking woman, dude.
Right. She took a lot of risk, right? So I was blessed. I went to my job. Coke Zero, you guys. It's great.
what a good little 10-second.
Times in times of needs, it quenches the thirst.
You should have said
right. We'll try that next time when I do the great this up next.
Yeah. Up next, some Kroger water.
Right. So I was blessed and I went to my job and I went right to the vice president of HR. I said, you let me do my support group. You flex my schedule for that. You let me apply for a position at a director of I told him I was going to apply for a director position at community center.
Okay.
At a different job. And they were okay with that. I said, and you said I can flex my schedule. I've been presented this opportunity. This is what my support group does. And this is what they want me to do.
They want to pay me for
agency wants to pay me to do this. But I don't want to leave this company. You guys trained me. You guys gave me you guys gave
me a beautiful job that was going to take care of my family forever.
Right. Yeah. You guys, you invested in me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to walk away. The vice president had a meeting with the owner. They sit me down and they tell me this. Omar, if it's something you want to do, we run on deadlines. You have never missed a deadline. You do great quality work. Your whole team is very staffed. They're very whatever. Everybody you work with, your quality. You're in the quality.
You got
control,
everything together. Yeah.
If it's something you want to do, we will give you Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons off. As long as you worked your 40 hours and made them up on Saturday or Sunday and were available when your team needs you and you don't miss a deadline. I said, seriously? Ryan Hendricks, Sigma Technologies in Perrysburg, Ohio. They are the best company I ever worked for. They knew I had a dream.
They really fucking they let you do your dream.
And I'm gonna even be more specific.
And that's because you were a hard worker before that. You haven't missed a deadline. If you would have missed a deadline, they'd have said fuck you.
Right. And they knew I was a felon.
Mm-hmm.
They knew my story. They knew what I was doing.
As
an engineer. They gave a 9-time felon engineer degree because I had worked and had a resume and I had been chasing my career and working the whole time. This was 15 years later.
And they believed that somebody could change their life around.
Correct.
Just because you were a dope boy doing all that stupid shit doesn't mean that you can get out of prison. Because prison is the rehabilitation where you go like, holy shit, maybe I shouldn't do this no more.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but some people need a little bit more than that.
Yep. So they give me, they say that's great. Hell yeah. I can chase my dream. I can now work full-time for my engineering company and have my stability. I can now also work full-time and start my own consulting firm.
Now you can grind your shit.
Yeah, I can now start my own consulting firm. Hell yeah. I get in my car, I go to drive home, and now I gotta go tell my wife. She ain't married me yet. Someday I'm gonna get her to marry me. She gave me 21 years, but she ain't getting married to me yet. We're gonna get married someday.
Oh,
Well, someday.
it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah, she gave me her life, man. I don't care about that
Yeah.
paper. She gave me
You're
herself.
damn near married, dude.
Yeah,
she was there through you, thick and thin, bro.
I mean, we've had ups and downs, and but we're going through we're finishing a down right now. We're getting reconciled, But anyways, so I get my dream now. I wished I had that opportunity. I'm chasing my dream. I have that dream. Now I got to go home and tell this woman, guess what, babe? I got my dream. And what that means is I now get to work 2 full-time jobs. Congratulations. Your man is now about to work 100 hours a week. Yeah. Literally.
Now I'm not going to be home for a long time.
Ever. Oh, how are you in the pregnancy doing?
Yeah.
Because we're a couple months away from
Do you still need something to eat because you were hungry earlier? Yeah.
It caused a lot of risks, We fast forward, I did both jobs for a year. Realized that it was sustainable. Became the #1 job placement vendor in Monroe County. Now, I started working their felons, placed all their felons. Boom. Easy peasy. I have been doing it. I am a felon. I need to talk. They cannot pay somebody to teach somebody how to answer the question, are you a felon? If you haven't had to answer that question successfully.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Not only am I just saying, 9.
Yeah.
Explain 9 felonies.
A ton, bro. A ton.
Explain that.
Yeah.
You can't lie to the government about that. They're gonna know. So if you get a job working for a government contractor, your boss knows what you did. So you're
working for the people that know exactly what you did.
They know my social security number before I give it to them.
They know you're fucking what you.
I can't tell them I can't tell them I ain't got no money in the bank. They know how much is in there.
Right.
I can't say whatever. So, I did that for a year, man. I placed all their felons. I placed them in the a couple weeks. It was a couple months, just done. They gave me some tough ones too. Then they asked me, can you work with our adults without felonies? It's easier. Boom, placed them all. They did part-time. I was still had a full-time job. I was still an engineer. I was putting a lot of hours in this one, but it still wasn't my main job. They then said, can you work with our youth with recurrent medical conditions? Rocked it out. Finished the first year. Placement numbers. There's 5 agencies that are used in this county.
Okay.
5 consulting firms. We placed more than all 5 of we being me myself. Cause I handled staff at that time.
Right.
I placed more than all 5
combined.
And it was done not by me being any fancy guy, man.
You being you.
I'm just a fucking guy.
You're not. And the thing is, you're telling your truth. You're telling the truth.
Here's the beautiful thing about this beautiful town of Monroe. We're going to bring it back circle about this beautiful town. People says, who are you? How? I'm a vocational rehabilitation life coach. I'm going to save your life. I'm come sit across my table. I'm going to open your doors for you. I'm going to give you what you want. All that is just a gimmick to get you across the door to call my friends. So the powerful friends I've made in those resources, right? I got all those individuals placed. I didn't do nothing but call the people in this little bitty old town who have known me my whole life. All those, when I was a dope boy, all those addicts I sold drugs to, they don't all stay addicts. Half of them, some of them aren't with us no more, and rest your souls.
Yeah, but some of them
become managers at
some of them hit rock bottom and they start climbing.
Right. They become recovery, and then they say, "Damn, Omar, you changed. I changed. What are you doing now?" I'm trying to help people change. Oh, well, let's help people change.
I want to do it with you, bro.
Manager at Circle K, the director at Lake Erie Transit, Nikki Giamani. I know her from volunteer programs, the different agencies, all these different places, and these people who I came in contact with. I now have a job where I don't go around and I say, "Help me." I go around and say, "Hey, man, help me, help him. Let's do a good deed."
Yep. Let's go help this guy.
And who doesn't want to help somebody? So when people say, "Oh, Omar, you're like so cool," I'm just a fucking guy who hung out in Monroe.
I'm just a guy that loves people.
That's it, man. I'm just a guy.
Yeah. So here's my take on this whole story that you just told me. It's you get these people that are looking for a light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel of their recovery,
Right.
And what you do is you give them, "Hey, bro, I had a tiny light too, but I stuck my finger in it and I started making it bigger and I walked through that fucking hole."
Yeah.
And that's and I feel like they can relate to you. So automatically the trust level is way up.
Yeah.
Because now, and then you're giving them not only you're giving them a platform to start working towards this, but you've also did this too, and they see where you're at, and they're like, why can't I fucking do this? I'm gonna rip this hole open too. And then, because like you said, some of them didn't. 23 out of the 36 graduated.
Right.
Some of them didn't. But I'm saying, like, the 23 out of 36 is a huge number.
34, but yeah, either way.
Or 34.
Yeah,
It's still a big number.
Right.
And all you did was show them. Put your sunglasses on. You're about to see the light.
Well, I'll share. I'll tell you another number that's a big number. You'll like, it's one of my other proud numbers. And then I'm gonna mention to you where I'm gonna talk about my formula. I mentioned my formula a minute ago.
Yep.
You kind of touched on it, right? Because you mentioned the hope and the light.
Yeah.
Okay. Number you'll love. We haven't done numbers yet for last year, for 2021, but in 2019 and 2020, we being me and one person who worked part-time with me.
Okay.
And a couple other like people who like helped out here and there, but we being that one person and the rest of the community, we reached out to the rest of the community. This community as a whole put together, okay, by just me and Eric Rose, my partner. I wouldn't be where I am right now without. I'd have failed. Like I would have failed. My business wouldn't be what it is. You wouldn't be talking to me.
Right.
We did 528 individuals with a 523 with a 78% retention rate. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I always mix the 3 and 8 up.
Yeah.
With a 78% retention rate. All of them. 523 with 78% retention rate. All of them. Felons, addicts, homeless, battered women, people society seemed unemployable. All of them got jobs to stay in not longer than 90 days longer and have been successfully unemployed. All of them productive members of society. All of them with houses.
523.
523 in 2 years.
That's 100% progression rate. That's 100% fucking completion rate.
No, we failed. I mean, I helped probably about maybe 800 get jobs.
Right.
You know, we're in since a long time, but
it's up to them to keep the job.
It's not 100%. It's 78%. So whatever the number is, I mean,
78% of that though, of 500 people.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's like
we've done like almost close to 800, like since like the ad in the last year.
Right.
But out of the 523 in 2019,
78% went.
78%.
They went to do better, bigger, and better things.
Yeah, stayed at their jobs, got their houses, like transition to life. Beautiful thing. I love that number. But how is that number done? How's that happen? You mentioned the hope.
Yeah.
All right, I mentioned a minute ago formula.
Yeah.
Okay, and if anybody
the formula to everything,
everyone wants to know how I help people. I'm just a guy, and this is what I do. This is what I needed. Okay. It starts with the H, and then we do the 4 E's. Okay. If I can give you the H, which is hope, you get the hope by looking at me, because remember I said earlier, there ain't nothing they know what felons, addicts, homeless. I mean, what your daddy whipped on you?
Still a fucking human.
Poor kid. I got all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm same boat. So you can look at me and see you. It's like I can look at you and see me. We are the same. I tell them that we are the same, my brother. I love you. Let's share this meal together. I eat lunch with random people all the time.
Oh.
I might eat 3 lunches a day.
Right.
But over that meal, they see myself in them. That's the goal. And it's to see and to get, and it's not really to see for them to see themselves in me. It comes naturally if I can relate to them and see myself in them. They're naturally see it becomes organic. I got to relate to them and become relatable. We do it in politics. They do it. The politicians do it all the time when they say he doesn't know the price of bread. He's not relatable to the public.
No.
Well, the parole officers, the counselors, they're not relatable to the public.
Mm-hmm.
I am. So you sit across my beautiful table. You tell me what you want in life. I plant that seed of hope when I call my phone and open it up. You've already got hope because you're sitting there.
Once you can hear it happening.
Yes. Once we get the hope, we then work on the 3 E's. If I can work on these 3 E's, get you to buy in on these 3 E's, within, I promise you, 90 days to 6 months, you will have the 4th E. It takes me 90 days to 6 months to change my life. If they believe and they have hope and not believe in me, believe in themselves and believe in these tools that we're going to have.
Teach them how to believe in themselves.
Here it is. All they need. They got to work on the 3 E's. Education. And education isn't necessarily what you think about, like going to college and reading the books.
Mhm.
It is. Don't get me wrong. It definitely is that. But you have to be educated, like as into how to sit at an interview,
Mhm.
how to build a resume, how to navigate the public bus system, um,
Life skills,
how to
like,
wash your underwear,
yep,
how to not get into argument with your wife and catch a domestic violence case.
right.
Education got to give you the tools to whatever, and what people need to be educated on is different from each person.
Mhm.
So the H and the 4 E's isn't organic. It's not like it's a formula, but it's built to each individual custom treatment plan.
Yes,
Each individual is
yes,
a person. So the order of operation and what we focus on are different. But education,
yes,
give them hope. Work on education. We work on environment. Your environment isn't always where you live at. It is where you live at, but it's also what music are you absorbing? What smells are you absorbing? When you are in the break room, what jokes are you hearing them say? What shop talk are you exposed to? That it impacts you.
right.
If you sit at a table and the guy next to you is James sitting next to you is talking to Johnny and they're saying perverted jokes all day long, you're gonna have a perverted, you're gonna think a perverted thought.
Yeah,
But if you go to a different restaurant and you sit next to Reverend John and Deacon James,
yeah,
and they're talking about the Holy Ghost and praise the Lord, you can walk out and that sun's gonna seem a little brighter.
yeah,
You're gonna look up and praise the Lord.
yeah.
It's your environment. So we plant the hope.
It's people around you. Yeah,
Right. It's who you absorb, man. It's we are sponges. It's whatever water you putting that sponge in.
Mhm.
What are you taking a bath in today, sir?
Yeah,
Work on the hope. We work on the environment, work on the education, the environment, and then you give them the employment. And you work on the employment. And not it ain't just this job, it's a career job, a path.
right, right.
Today you're gonna eat this shit sandwich. I keep saying I said that a couple times. Today you're
Yeah,
gonna work at McDonald's. Because you got to work on McDonald's because your parole agent is telling you you need a job right here, right now. Or you're living at Ty's house and Ty says you got to pay rent. So we got to get you in somewhere right now.
mhm,
You can go to McDonald's, start working tomorrow. Wendy's does the same day pay.
yeah.
You can go to staff agency, you can start working tomorrow, begin to check in 7 days.
Okay.
Okay. That's what you got to do now. While you do that, you don't want to work at Backyard slinging wood. You don't want to work at McDonald's forever. Johnny and Joe Ray are beautiful guys, but you don't want to be in the kitchen all day. That's hot. You're gonna get
I
burned.
don't know. Yeah.
You might want to own your own restaurant, own your own kitchen. So we talk about your career path. Take this job now, and in 30 days, apply for this job. You get this resume. You take this job now, and that gives us 30 days for me to build your resume. Because it's time for us to start posting that resume out. That gives you time to get an interview. A week for them to call you back.
Yeah.
Then you go take your drug test. Then you pass your drug test. Then they do the background check. That takes a couple of days. Now you done been interviewed and it's taking you 2 weeks. You start working. Now you get your first check is held back a week or 2 weeks. It now takes a month and a half for you to get that job that you wanted in that check. So guess what, buddy? That job we can't do, but we're gonna eat this shit sandwich and go. You're gonna go work at Michigan Bar and wash dishes
Yeah.
while we do this. And then in a month, in 3 weeks, you're gonna start working at at the Jeep plant.
Right.
And you're gonna be doing that, and that's gonna work out, and that's cool. And then you'll be broke for a little bit because you'll be having to check weight, but that's the path.
Yeah.
So you work on those 3 things. You give them the hope. Hope gets them to sit down at the table, and hope gets them to listen to you.
Yeah.
Hope gets them to want to evaluate the education.
A little positivity
Yes.
goes a long way when you start. I can fucking do this.
Yes.
That's the one thing. Once you break into that, they're like, "Fuck, dude, let's go."
Right. So I don't care who you are. If you come across our table and you believe in yourself, you have hope. And if you're willing to work on those 3 things, and everybody, people say, "Oh, how do you know what 3 things?" They tell me. You know what you need to work on.
Yeah.
If you trust me and you're relatable to me, you're going to tell me.
Yeah, and if you're honest with yourself, you're going to tell them what the fuck you're not good at and what
right.
you're good at.
You know. So I don't need to be a mind reader. I don't need to be a great social worker or a therapist and none of that. I just need you to say, "Hey, Omar is just that guy."
It's easier to be honest with somebody
Correct.
that's on the same level as them.
Correct.
And even if you're way up here, got a placement firm,
Right.
that doesn't mean I still came from the bottom like you, dude.
Right.
And we can all be at the top. You want to eat at this big table with me?
Let's eat.
Let's
eat.
And that little hope. I mean, some people will take that hope and just be like, fuck it, but some people are going to be like, "Oh my God, I didn't think I had a fucking chance." Yeah. And Omar thinks I do.
Yeah. So you give them the hope.
Mm-hmm.
If they can work buy-in for 3 months to 6 months, and you just get them to not throw their life away, because that's what it is, man. It's a self-worth thing, man. We don't feel that we deserve better. So when things are going good, we usually self-destruct for different reasons. A lot of times self-worth, we don't feel like we need it. We deserve it or whatever reason. If I can give somebody hugs, emotional hugs, literal hugs, eat enough lunch with them, whatever, get them to buy in for 90 days to 6 months, right? They get the biggest E, the biggest E, the best E. This is what I want. Empowerment. They are now empowered to do whatever they want to do with their life. It might be throw it away, because that's the nature of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they're empowered to be the first one in their family to graduate college, and their kids can say, Dad, I'm 13 and I hate junior high, but you graduated college, I can do it too.
Yeah.
They're empowered to inspire their family, or they are empowered to throw it away. And here's the beautiful part. You had mentioned the convicts, the 34 enrolled, 23 graduate, right? That leaves 11 of them that fell by the wayside, and that also lets me. Then we also talk about half of the 23 didn't. They relapsed, right? Here's the beautiful thing about here. This is what I love about it, and I tell people this all the time. I don't care how many times you fuck up. I'm gonna be here to help you every time. And you know why? Here's why. Once I have planted the seed of hope, once I have showed you the education you
all I gotta do is
showed
water
you the path, showed you the environment, helped the employment path, showed you that, empowered you to throw it away. Before all those tools were given to you, that glass of beige milk is what the milk, powder milk, like in county jail, folks.
Yeah.
If you're in the county jail, you drink yellow milk, beige milk, however you want to call it.
So gross, dude.
Right. Before you have those tools, that yellow milk, you might be able to stomach it. The day you go to jail and you have been empowered to throw your life away, somebody who has shown you everything, and you believe that you can change, because a lot of these people don't believe that they got anything worse from when they're kids. That's the problem. A lot of us, that milk tastes so nasty. The jail visit is horrible. When they come home, they work harder. They now have the path. Some of them come see me, some of them don't. But most of them at least progress in life. If they don't come see me, when they say they don't come see me, it's not because they don't come see me because they don't want to do good. They just don't need to come see me.
Yeah.
That's my secret, man. That's what I do. That's how I do it. So it's not me that does anything. It's the community that goes when I say, can you please, you've told me that you care and you want to help people. Well,
I got one.
Help, care. It's the support network that I had that opened these different doors, that hugged me when I was in my bottom. It's the perspective, the hope. When I look at my family and them taking control of my life, I hope that never happens. I will never give that away again.
Right.
Those things come from that. So who am I? It's a whole lot of words. What I do professionally, I am Omar Ferdin, vocational rehabilitation specialist. Some people call me a life coach. I just say I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
People come ask me on a daily basis how to fix their life, how to help their life. I don't do nothing but turn them to go tell them to go ask their neighbor, ask their brother. I'm not a Bible thumper, but the Lord is strong. God is alive, man, and He helps people. Or some of y'all may not be Christians, so I'll put it this way: I believe in a higher power, and there is a higher power that is strong, and it is alive in this community. Whatever your power you believe in, and when people come to ask me for help, all I do is I believe in the higher power, and I tell them to lean on their neighbor. So all I am is just the neighborhood. I'm just a guy from Monroe, man. That's it.
Just trying to help your fellow people. That's all you're trying to do.
And here's the beautiful part: I make decent money while I do it.
Right, and I mean, it's doing what you love. So you're literally coming into work with a smile on your face.
You see it. Every day.
Yeah. And I've never one time seen you come in here all salty or anything like that. You always have a smile. What's up, man? And you get into your office, you get the fuck of work.
Look, I'm going to share something. You mind if I share?
I don't care what you share.
Since you want to talk about you never see me with a smile, a sad face, I'm going to share something with y'all. You guys have heard me talk about perspective. I started off talking about perspective, right? I started off talking about life is how you perceive it. this whole conversation, I've been trying positive. I've been
Yep. Yep.
motivational. I've been talking about my life. Even
It's been a beautiful
right.
conversation.
I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. What y'all don't know, what time is it?
1:30.
It is 1:30. 19 hours ago at 2:41 p.m., my baby brother passed away in my arms. Um, Lifetime of drinking, lifetime of partying. Um, I come from a rough background, so it would go hand in hand. And my brother comes from the same background. I viewed life a little different than him. He partied, he drank, he never loved himself the way he should have. Um, I looked at life a little differently. We took two different career paths, two different life paths. Um, so it's all about perspective and how you look at it. I could sit here and be all sad and mad and cry, and I want to. I did. I was crying. I was crying. I've been crying. But it's about perspective. My brother is at peace now. My brother isn't suffering no more. My brother for years didn't love himself the way he should have. That means he was suffering. He was abusing himself. He was hurting himself when he was drinking. He's not like that no more. So one of my secrets to life, man, isn't people say I'm strong. It's not that, man. It's my perspective.
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to carry this burden if I looked at it negatively. I'm able to sit in front of you and talk about my life and talk about who I am calmly and hold it together, not because I'm strong, but because I'm at peace with it and it's my perspective.
Yes. That's who you are.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's what
life's gonna give us shit sandwiches, man. Your brother is gonna die the day you're supposed to schedule to go on radio stay and give an interview. Do you sit and say, I'm sorry, I can't handle it, or do you eat that shit sandwich and you go do what you got to do?
I was shocked when I seen you. You said 12 o'clock, right? I said, holy shit.
I gave an obligation, man. I gave an obligation to talk about my life, and here we are. We have to talk about my life. I'm not gonna talk about my life because life happened.
Yeah. Because life shit on you, bro. Yeah. I'm eating this shit sandwich right now in this mic. Right now
in this mic, eating this shit sandwich. I want to be right now holding my mama. I want to be right now with my baby sister. But I made an obligation to be here. I made an obligation. So, yeah, he would understand. Everybody would understand. But I wouldn't understand.
You're right.
And it's my
now
perspective.
We have to reschedule or,
right,
shit. Yeah, you're
why?
Right.
For what? It's all about perspective, y'all. So if you guys take anything from this conversation, I want you to take this way. Hopefully this. There's a guy in front of you who has been a homeless guy. There's a guy in front of you who has failed as a father twice in two families. I'm trying to fix my own Carrie right now. So I have failed as a family man twice. I have failed as a business owner multiple times. I have failed as a college dropout. I have been a high school dropout. My family has thrown me away and discarded me. I have been locked away by the prison system. Society has turned their back on me. All of that. Everyone y'all can relate to that. And I stand here as a man telling y'all this. You can have your dream. You can do anything you want to do in life. All you have to do is get up and go get it.
Yep.
To do the impossible, you have to see the invisible. Nobody else can see what you can see. Nobody else is going to see that you ain't going to be an addict tomorrow. I'm sorry, you were an addict yesterday. You were an addict the day before. Your family, the people around you, some of them are going to view you like that forever.
Forever.
But you know what? They don't need to see what you see. To do the impossible, you must see the invisible. So I stand here before you as a man. One day, my name was Omar Gilbert Ferdin. The next day, my name was 309236.
Mm-hmm.
And today, the same people that changed my name call me Mr. Omar Gilbert Ferdin. You can be anything you want to be. I am a life coach. I am a vocational rehabilitation specialist. I am just a guy. You are just a guy. You are just a woman. I stand before you telling you this. Beat your chest and be whoever you want to be in life. You can do that if you do one thing. Well, actually, two things. Let me rephrase it. If you do two things. Do your own fucking time and believe in yourself. Nobody else can see what you see.
I knew you were going to say that. So what we do is we ask a last questions. What it is what's your...
Well, let's figure out, how do we get a hold of you? How does someone get a hold of you? Do you have social media, any of that?
Like plug yourself in and try, how do they get to find you?
All right, man. Last question. How do you find me?
That's not the last question.
Last question.
Okay. How do you find me? It's real simple. I'm gonna give y'all my cell phone number.
Dude.
You call this number. If I don't answer, I'm probably in a meeting or somebody's called me. You send me a text. I respond to every text message. That's one way to get a hold of me. My phone number is 734-299-1700. 299-1700. You can dance to it.
Yeah.
299-1700.
299-1700.
You can dance to that number.
That's good.
Other ways to find me. I am located in downtown Monroe. I am here roughly every day from 8 to 4 p.m. My address is 105 East Front Street, Suite 201. If I am not in the office, I'm meeting with the owner and planting the seed to help you out. All you have to do, I have a mail chute in my door. Write a note. Slide it through that suit. I promise you I'll get it. I'll come back. If I ain't in the office, leave me a note. Send me a text. Try to find me. I will find you. I promise.
Say, hey, Omar, I'm trying to help myself. Will you help me help myself?
I'm there. I'm your guy.
Say, fuck yeah, brother. So
what they say? I'll be a huckleberry.
Yeah. Yep. So my last question is last thing to say to the world, what are you gonna say? But you just gave me a 5-minute spiel of the greatest fucking thing I said right before we asked you these questions.
Last thing to say to the world. Watch this video all over again.
Yeah.
And listen, focus on the last 7 minutes.
And notice you can do whatever the fuck you want to. You just gotta have that drive.
That's it.
You gotta believe in yourself.
I gotta say one thing real quick is today's episode folded back on this morning's episode where we talked about how I don't care who it is, how great you are, the accomplishments you've had, you've failed a million more times than you've succeeded.
Yes.
And succeeding, failure is a big part of winning.
The failure is great, man.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, I say, I don't come from a rich community, right? A rich family. But we have different opportunities. We learn. There's no such thing as a mistake in life. There are lessons if you choose to learn from them.
Yep.
Some people,
it's all about perspective.
Some people pay with money when they go to college to learn. I pay with heartache and pain, and I learned different lessons.
Yep.
Well, I went to college. We all go to college. We just pay with heartache and pain, or we pay with money.
Yep. Dude, that was a great episode. That was a great episode 99, bro. Thank you for coming in. I see it right here. I just want to say it. It felt good to walk off the stage when I graduated college and said, I did it, bitches. And that's what it is, man. You just got to know that you can do it. That's it for episode 99, guys. Omar, thank you for coming in, bro.
Thank you.
I'm so glad of what you do, bro. I'm so glad you're so relatable, and there is somebody out here doing what you're doing, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you guys have a good day. I love every single one of you.
Brought to you by Brain Jerk. Fuck yeah.
I'm with my people, man. I'm
Your life story is